Hey there, and welcome! Today, we're going to do something super useful. We're taking a real GCSE Maths exam question, pulling back the curtain on the official mark scheme, and figuring out exactly how to build that perfect, full-mark answer. Let's get right into it.
You know that feeling, right? You're sure you've nailed a question, but then you only get 1 mark out of 2. So what's the secret sauce? What's the difference between a pretty good answer and one that gets every single point available? Well, that is exactly what we're about to uncover.
Okay, first things first. Let's look at the challenge we're tackling today. We're going to treat this as our little case study. So here it is. We've got 2 triangles on the grid, A and B. And the instructions are really specific. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. Now that word fully is a massive clue. It's the examiner basically screaming at you, hey, a one-word answer isn't going to cut it here.
So just pause for a second. If you were sitting in that exam hall, what would you be writing down? To get all the marks, what are the key pieces of information you think you need to provide to satisfy that word fully?
All right, ready for the big reveal? To find out exactly what the examiner is looking for, we're not going to guess. We're going straight to the source, the official mark scheme. Think of this as our secret weapon.
And there you have it. This is literally the checklist that the person marking your paper is using. Let's zoom in and see exactly what it says for our question.
So it all boils down to 3 things. Number 1, the type of transformation, which is enlargement. Number 2, the scale factor, which is 2/3. And number 3, the center, which is at -4, -2. These are the 3 ingredients for a perfect answer. Get all 3, you get full marks. Okay, so now we know what we need to write down. But how do we actually find these 3 things? Let's build this answer together, one step at a time.
We're going to break this down into 3 easy stages. First, we'll identify the transformation. Second, we'll calculate that scale factor. And third, we're going to hunt down the center of enlargement.
Let's start with step 1. Just by looking at the 2 triangles, you can see they're the same basic shape, right? They're just different sizes. Triangle B hasn't been flipped or turned, so it's not a reflection or a rotation. That means it has to be an enlargement. And yeah, even though triangle B is smaller than A, in maths, we still call this an enlargement.
Now for step 2, the scale factor. This sounds way more complicated than it is. All you do is pick a side on the new shape, that's B, and divide its length by the length of the matching side on the original shape, which is A. Let's make it easy and use the base of the triangles. The base of B is 2 squares wide. The base of A is 3 squares wide. So you just do 2 divided by 3.
And that gives us a scale factor of 2/3. You can do a quick sanity check here. Since the shape got smaller, the scale factor has to be less than 1. And 2/3 is definitely less than 1, so we're on the right track. You'll also notice the letters OE on the mark scheme, which just means or equivalent. So if you wrote the recurring decimal 0.666, you'd get the mark too. And finally, step 3, finding the center of enlargement. Now this is the bit that can trip people up, but there's a really simple method to find it. You just need to draw straight lines through the matching corners or vertices of both triangles. And you can see exactly how it works here. You literally connect the dots. Take a ruler, draw a line from the top corner of A through the top corner of B. Do the same for the other 2 pairs of corners. And see how all 3 lines cross at one single point? That's it. That's your center of enlargement, which is right there at coordinates -4, -2. So, how does this all translate into your score? Well, the mark scheme is super clear. If you get all 3 things right, enlargement, scale factor, 2/3, and the center -4, -2, you get the full 2 marks. If you only get 2 of those right, say you find the enlargement and the scale factor but mess up the center, you still get 1 mark. Any less than that, and you get 0. It shows why every single part matters. Okay, let's zoom out for a second. We've cracked this one question, but what's the bigger lesson here? How do we turn this into a game plan for any question that asks you to describe something in detail? Here's your 4-step blueprint. 1. Break down the question. Hunt for those key words like fully. 2. Speak the language. Use the proper mathematical terms. 3. Be your own checklist. Make sure you've included all the parts they're looking for. And 4. Make it clear and easy to read so the examiner can just tick it off and give you the marks. It all comes down to a shift in perspective. You've got to stop thinking like a student and start thinking like the person who has to mark your paper. If you can figure out what's on their checklist before you even start writing, you're halfway to getting full marks. So the next time a question asks you to describe fully, remember this. break it down, use the right words, and give the examiner every piece of the puzzle they're looking for. Now, how are you going to take this strategy into your next exam? Thanks for watching.